Just turn it on, maybe ready inside.
I don't have a pocket.
Yeah, your best.
Oh, on my vest? Okay, I guess I do.
Now, where do
Thank
they
you for
get
letting me
time?
come. I hope that I don't
These are
disappoint
collated,
you.
so there's the two of them together.
This is my 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever time it was, handout.
Did you get
Good
two of
morning
them?
for you.
Oh, two at your top.
2 or 3, 5, yeah.
I should have collated these.
I grew up in Idaho Falls, born in
Just
Utah,
take these back and we'll.
and we moved down here when we were getting ready to have number 4 and 5 babies. And we lived in Shelby ever since. I have lots of, I have 11 grandkids. I think that's a lot. And we have some great grandkids. And I actually started sewing when I was not very old. My dad made this big old box with scraps in it, and I'd go downstairs and sew by myself. And then when I got married, I did try to make some clothes, and my husband, I wasn't very good at reading patterns because this is me when I read instructions, so he encouraged me to try and learn how to read instructions. So I have got better at that. And the last few years, I've gotten more and more that I love quilting. I've joined the Quilt Guild, and they do marvelous stuff, but I'm learning. My geese are always, their noses are buried, sorry, they're dead, and my seams are not very straight, but I love it. I have a really messy house now. I used to not do that. I love to go downstairs and sew, and that is what I like to do all the time, and it's, just being around all of you that I just learned and love. Everything I have today is, did not go out and buy anything. It's stuff that, first of all, scraps and crumbs are, they're different. The crumbs are the little teeny tiny things, and scraps are things that you might have left over from other quilts. And sorry, my mouth is dry, but it'll get better in a minute. And so when you're thinking about scraps, sometimes you think just even little pieces like that, but it can just be jelly roll pieces, it can be layer cakes, it can be anything that you have got left over from making other quilts. So this first quilt I'm going to show you, I got these, actually they were ends. We were in Nevada, and I went to a quilt store, and they have these sacks with, the salvages. And I came home, and so I guess I did buy that, but it was a scrap. And so I came home, and I decided to make this quilt. And it's just like your salvages, so you could, if you start saving all your salvages, you could cut off can you see it okay? Thank you. Oh, thank you. And then this one right here is probably one of I learned how to do this out at, is it Ollie and Evie? She taught us how to do the strip, Evie. And yeah, hold that right on up so they can see the dog hole. Let me tell you this story. I made this for my daughter, and she had it on her ladder in her living room. And this Christmas, I went to her house and I got it down. I was going to show it to somebody. Oh, she had it folded so I would never, ever know. Tina, come here. Oh, crap, Mom got did your dog chew a hole in there? Yes, Mom, I didn't think you would ever take that off. But yeah, that was nice of you, wasn't it? It's kind of a little memory thing, I guess you can call it that. And then this one I made a quilt. I don't have this quilt finished, and I made it several years ago. And there was leftover layer cake. So I cut that up and cut up the leftover layer cakes and some of the pieces and made that quilt with that. So like I said, everything I haven't. And then there's
Did you build it yourself?
Yes, and I was learning how to do that, so this is, yes, I did quilt that myself.
It's very cute. There's individual flowers in the swirls. That's why I asked.
That's cool.
Thank you I did do okay on that one, didn't I?
Pass it around.
And then this is one that I did a long time ago. Oh, no, this isn't a long time ago. This is one that I
love that.
worked on, and that was all scraps. And I first got my quilting machine, and it was doing this, so it was all nasty, and so it took me 2 years to unpick all the squares and redo it. I still don't have the binding done, but the quilt's done. And I wanted to do something that was for camping. And that's all scraps on the back and everything. It's funny when you start looking at these quilts and you're quilting and you see the fabric and you're going, oh, I remember that. I think that's the first fabric I ever bought. Say that again.
Is that as close as you go?
That one,
No.
no.
Yes.
No, yes it is. Yes it is, I lied. Yes it is. And then I put the Levi in between it. You would sew it on one side. I can't remember. Oh, you sewed the back. You sewed that together, and then you would take and do one piece and then fold it over so that they were like right sides together. And that the binding and the sashing are all from Levi's that I.
The raccoon is so cute.
This one, I think Terry might have taught this one year, and then another lady came coming over to her house. And these are the find it, but they're all. I've made a couple of these, and the grandkids love them because they have all the. Yes.
Did you quilt this one yourself?
Yes.
She quilted it herself. And look at the back.
Oh, nice.
Some strings hanging off of it. Okay, now I think this is almost one of the first one that my machine was working really good. And I have brought this here. But this is all, every single, I had this panel, and every single one of these are just fabric that I've had forever and ever and ever.
Wow.
Like I said, let's see. That one I quilted, yes. That was one of my first ones. It's got all sewing girls on it.
What's the back?
I love that fabric. I got that at probably Joann's. And
Do you know what pattern this is?
it's my own pattern.
It's your own pattern.
I cut these little things out, and then I just started, you know how you can, I just started doing the little things around it like that.
I just said the
So on this one, you would do I gotta remember how I did this. Okay, you would do, I remember now, you would do like 3 and 3 and 3 and 3, or you could do 1 and like that. But actually, you sew the 3 together like this. The 3 strips and then come on there, and then you have to leave the one side, one part open. And when you get around, then you finish sewing that seam. So when you're sewing it, you would leave that little bit open right there, and then you can finish it. Sorry, that is.
And then she squares them up.
This is when I give it. Well, it's okay. I wanted one that had some Levi in it, and I cut out Levi's and I had to practice on my quilter, but Sue and I are taking this one to the car races, because we love going to the car races. But it's just all, and then I cut out Levi's, and I have lots of them in the closet. The last one of these.
So she quilted this one herself too, and this is what I've been noticing in the back of all of her quilts. She does like a swirly meander with daisies, and it's very cute.
That's nice. That's about all I can do is flower. This one I did, but I used the pantograph thing, so I followed it with. And these are all, I've had some of this material forever. You look at it and you're thinking, oh my gosh. But material is supposed to last at least 100 years, so there you go.
Unless the dog chews on it.
Yeah, fine note.
I don't remember that pattern. I wish I did because I like it. So then I'm going to show you some of the, sorry. I'm making her run. Run! These are some of the, I go to YouTube, and her sister, Mary Mabel, has a lot of really cute, she's been here before, has a lot of really cute scrappy things you can go. I love Leah Louise, which you have. She's got lots of really cute scrappy things that you can, her things right here. But you go on there and you can just keep going through and you find lots of scrappy quilt blocks. It's just some really neat stuff to do. This I worked on, this I started, and then I kind of worked on it last night. This is kind of neat. You did this with, it's not done, but I'm going to finish it. You made a 9-patch with this one. And then you would take and sew, and then do this and sew them right sides together and do the crisscross. You know how you do the crisscross on your, I'm sorry, I probably should. You have your, sew, draw your line from here to here and then sew on each side of your line. And then you cut it. And then when you put it together, it goes to be a flying geese. See, those aren't too bad. Those have beaks, so those didn't turn out. But this will be really cute when it's done. And these are some charm squares that I had. And now I'm gonna have to go dig through my stash and find some more that kind of match that and cut it up. Oh, it's a cut. Okay. There. Anything bugs you, just tell me. But this is so easy. Once you got going on it, you just hurried up and sewed your 9 patches and put your paper on top and cut it and turned them. And so that's gonna, I know I have some grandbabies coming. If there's a girl, I think that would make a really cute baby quilt. This one is called, and I can't remember what it's called, but this one you start out with, I'll tell you what my problem is I never get anything done because I get on YouTube, like I said, and I find something and then I have to run downstairs and start something again. And this one starts out with this square like this.
It's
Just this square like this.
Is it a potato chip block?
Yes, yes. And then you cut from corner to corner on this one. Here's the squares. And you're just going to cut corner to corner like that, and then sew it together. I hadn't worked on it for a while, so I was trying to match all this stuff. Well, they don't match. Finally, I get the instructions out again, and she's going, and it doesn't match. I said, oh, okay, thank you, Russ. I'm stretching my fabric, trying to make all the seams match.
You need to hold it up and show us how you cut it.
Okay. Here's the
Block.
block. Did I write that on there too?
You probably did.
I might not have written this one on there.
Oh,
Anyway,
She cut from
yeah,
diagonal to diagonal and this diagonal to that.
okay.
So an X.
yeah. So then it comes apart so that you have these pieces like this. Yep. And then you're gonna sew them upside down like.
Show us on the big quilt.
Right. So then you have here's your triangles.
Show us up here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I could put it on the board.
Put on this book.
Oh, on that, sorry.
So because I can see from the back. Can you see the triangles from the back? So there's a row of triangles going
One
up
up, one down.
right here. Thank you. There's a row of triangles going down. And in between, these ones are going up.
Yep, so you just go like, after you cut your square, oh, for the Lord. And then you're gonna turn this turn upside down, like. Did you see it? Like that, I think that's what.
Yep.
And if you decide to make this, you need to let that overlap a little bit. That's one thing I learned about the noses. I wanted to mention something else, and I'll probably do that the whole time. I don't know if you set your seams, but when you're doing these scrappy things, set your seams first, which means, you've sewn something together like this, and then iron or press, and then open it up, and and then that will, it makes your seams go flatter if you set them first. It says that it makes the fabric, look at this, it makes the fabric, makes the thread settle into the fabric, and the seams do press open better. This one is, okay. Does anybody know what that might be?
No.
That is all my that's all my pieces I've been sewing together. And once I got going on it, it was really fun. And I measured it last night. It's almost a yard that way and that way. And I'm gonna take it and quilt it and make a bag with it. I'm gonna try making a bag with it. And I think it'll be really cute. But you can do, once you get these done, you can make, totes or anything. But it was really fun. I mean, it would make a really cute quilt too. But I decided I would try, quilting it first and see how that would. Oh, that's right, the coat. I was thinking about that when she was up here. That'd be really cute. I have my fabric already. And this one is off of Missouri Quilt. Or not Missouri, but Donna Jordan. And it's all scrappy. However, when we were on a retreat, I don't know who's with us, you girls remember I bought those two things at that one place, and I did put them on the end, but all of these is scrappy. Oh, here's a little, I don't know if she's in here. I love that fabric, and she has some back there, so I got to buy some more of that. But this was really fun, and it was really easy to make. You had your square, then you just took your 6-inch ruler and drew, made your, put 3, you know what I'm saying, and then put your ruler and drew the line, and then put your fabric in there, and then you put your square back over and you squared it up. And that was really fun to make.
That's cute.
I hope I'm giving you some ideas for scraps.
Mm-hmm.
I still have tons of scraps. I don't know why. Okay, this is a knot match, and that's okay. I think that's supposed to go like this. It's supposed to be like a whirlwind. It's okay. I started unpicking it and said, stop it. So it's okay. But this is some of that fabric that I got from those one things in Nevada, and then I had bought some extra because to go with that quilt, and so does it look like it matches? Oh, okay.
I can't find it.
Because you have the greens and you have the rust orange color, so it does.
What'd you say?
You have like the green, all different kind of the greens, and you have the orange color, so it matches.
Okay.
Like the relief.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then even in your green, you have the orange, so it's really pretty.
Over on the table, there was this book, and it had some, they had like lace and stuff that you can put in, like that one piece that I did. You could add lace, in the seams and a bunch of things like that that would make your bag or your coat jacket, put it in there first, and then it would already be in your seams, and that would make it really cute. Okay, how are we doing? We okay? Yeah. Oh, we're okay. This is one I found online, and this was called Duckworth Quilt. And I asked, the lady said that was showing the quilt, she said there was a lady named Duckworth, and she came up with this quilt, and it's in like there's like four pieces. And then and you don't have to you can do your centers however you want, but that was the whole point, was to have, and then sew the four of them together. And then, it's wonky, and probably a hole. And here's one of the, this is one that I not done with, that I started, that I need, because I'm going to keep adding to it. That's one thing about these kind of things. Sometimes you just, make some and then put them away and add some more. And here's some of the little, this will be this next one. You just go around. There's your center. And then just start working around it. And yeah. And when I did these, I did it like this. And when I started doing this one, I did it different. I did like that way and that way. And I liked it better. Do a top and a bottom and then a side and a side. And I think I liked it better that way than this one. That's why this was unpicked and not on there. I didn't know how many pickers you go through, but I go through plenty. I started this back in Nevada, in Pahrump, you know where that's at. It is a pleated log cabin. And you started with the center. I think it'll be cute when I get it done. And you started, with your center one, and then it tells you, you cut your pieces that big as you want them, and fold them, and I left this open so you could see. You sew it like that onto the piece before. You sew it like that on the piece before, and then fold it over however, I think this was 1.5 inches. I think I did 1.5 inches, that one. So then the next one will fold, and you would sew it right sides together, like that, and and then fold it over. And when you got to this part right here, you drew lines so that a couple of them kind of matched when you got down far enough. The corners matched, these earlier ones matched those lines so that it was straight. Draw them across here so that you knew that you were keeping it straight. I don't think it would matter if it was straight because it's scrappy and wonky, but when I get it done, I think it'll be cute. These right here, okay, this is called disappearing squares. Wait till I show you how easy this is. This one you can't see very well, so that's why I decided I did some more so that it showed up better. Here is that one. All you do is take 4 pieces of fabric, and I wrote that on your paper. That's the one that has the square, and it shows it, and you're going to measure 1 inch. Yes, that one right there. You're going to measure like 1 inch, and it said to do 1 1/4 or 1.5 inches. The 1 1/4 did not show up as well as this one. I like this one. Because you could really see the center
Need
star.
some really good contrast.
So then, you cut it from corner to corner, and I had to keep looking at my paper because I cut it wrong, of course. And so that way to that way. So measure inch and a half, and then cut it, and then arrange your pieces. One thing when you do it, it's gonna be this, when you're putting them together, this one center line is kind of crooked. Just kind of trim it off, and it turns out great. I think this is really, really cute. I think you can do some really fun stuff with this. And it was easy. And if I say easy, it really is easy. Any questions so far? There's Duckworth. Okay. This one is called Truly Scrap Quilt. And I saw this on YouTube, I'm sure. And these are 2 and 3.5 inch squares. Show it. And I'm working on this. But look at what a cute quilt this is going to be. And you just work on it. You can use your leaders and enders. You can take your square and then start working on them that way.
Right.
Really
You use up a lot of scraps.
Yeah.
But now that when I was sewing that one together that I said I was going to make the purse out of, I didn't want to go upstairs. Once I got going, at first I was going, I don't know. I was going to bring one of the things how to do those scraps that way with that one is to take a strip, like if you had this strip right here, and then just take some scraps and start sewing them along there like that. Just grabbing your scrap thing, and I was going to bring that. And so here's a piece, and you sew it right here, a different piece, and sew it right here, sorry, and then cut in between them and start folding them over. And once you get the hang of, at first, of course, I threw a lot of them away because I didn't like it, but once you got the hang of how to start adding them, it was really great. It was really easy to keep adding to and then I did find some squares in some leftover squares that I made, and I added them to that quilt too, and I have some more. So I'm excited to see how it's going to quilt, or if it's going to be, if it'll work. Okay, the other one, let's see. Oh, that one was called, that was the wilderness, that other one. Then these, right here, these are jelly rolls. And that quilt with the hole in it was made like that. And you sew strips together like this. You sew your strips together, and then you have 2 strips, and you sew them. Oh, for the love! You sew them together, right? And then you measure. Wait a minute, no, you sew the strip together. Sorry, I'm telling you wrong. And then you measure how across, like you can have 4 strips, 5 strips, however many you want. And then after you get done sewing them together, you're going to measure across here. And that's how big you're going to cut your square. You want all these squares. So then you can take another, like this is different fabric right here. And thank you. Here is some different fabric. And that one's got 5. This has only got 4 because I changed my mind how big I was going to make them. And then if I had that, I would have this, and it would have went on here if it was the same size. You'd have your 2 squares the same size. And then you're going to do the corner to corner thing is, you draw your line and then sew on each side. And it turns out like this. I think like this. This one had 4. This one had the 4 like that. Yeah, this right here had 4. And I think these all had 4. And you can go and figure out if you want it to be all scrappy or if you want it to go something like that. The one that had the 5, okay, this one was scrappy, but it had all you could see that. So if you wanted a fabric to be all in the same position, then I ran off if you have 4 strips, if you put, I should put this on your paper. Here was the black and the black, and then the colored ones ran in between. So the black ones were on the outside. This is with 4 strips. And then you do sew them like you did. And then when you cut them, then it'll be in the same spot. The 5, if you did 5, and you did that the same way with it on the outside, like that, the strip ended up in the middle because there was more, and then your other things went out like that. So you had your middle part, that little part, and then you're gonna have then the black one all around like that. And I liked it like that.
Yeah.
Here's some more of, now these are strip. This is strip. These are just strip. On this one, you had a foundation, not paper, it was fabric. And you measured, on there I said, it was like an inch from the edge like that, and you would sew your fabric like this, and then, you measure, and then you leave that strip down there. Am I explaining this good, or am I being?
You put a strip down the middle.
And so then you would sew it, and when you got done, you had so that it would look like that, and your square would be all the way around like that. If you wanted it to be all one color like that.
Fold it in half so you can just see one block.
Okay.
Yeah, like that.
Okay.
You can see that's what, yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay, this is one. Okay. So then you had your block like that. And then you keep doing your strips long and then trim it off. And then sew them together, your strips together, and you end up like that. So then you had 4 of them that went, so you had that middle part. Oh, here's a little one that went with some of these. See, if you put them together, then I guess however you want to arrange them, but sorry. Yeah, look at it. But see, you can do it however you want, and then you'll have this one I started, and then I decided I liked the thinner strip better. So you can do your strip however fat you want it to be. You can measure it and then start with your piece. And
Are you sewing on fabric or paper?
these are on fabric. So this will stay in the middle. These right here were done on paper. So on these, well, it all depends on what color you wanted it to be. But this was done on paper, so you put your yellow strip down the center of your square first, and then, added all your other pieces. I should be over at the flannel board. And then you can arrange it however you want, but if you want your yellow, your yellow to go all together, then it goes like that. And then you can arrange it how you want it to be. There's a couple of these. Do you want me to put it on the flannel board, and you know what I'm saying? You know what okay. Okay. this one was called, she did call this a potato chip block. Oh, if you guys want a copy of this, I should give her this, but I didn't know if everyone wanted a copy of it, but I think this turned out really cute. You're going to sew it like this. And you're gonna it's got the darks and the lights, or you can change it the other way around. Here was a piece of that was part of the quilt that I took a picture of on the camera. But here, I wrote this on here for for instructions, but you put the two A's, you would put the two A's together right here. And then you added that's A1 and A2, and then you added the B's that way. And then a C went here, and however they are opposite. But if you want a copy of this, here is the instructions for it.
Or Google it.
Say that again?
Or Google it. Just say potato chip block.
If you can find the right, this is, And I'm sure maybe you can find that, but if you decide you want it, there's that right there. Now this one, Dawn's sister, I watched she does lots of scrappy stuff, and it was really fun. This one is another, this is really cute. And what you did was you drew a line, wherever you wanted, like a third of the way. You drew foundation paper, it's on a foundation, not paper, it's on material. And my line was drawn like right about here. And then you put the first row on there. And you went barely over the line that you had drawn. And then you did it the other direction. So this is a really cute quilt for kids. Really, takes up cute scraps. You can use a lot of scraps with that one. And we're almost to the end. This was called Square Dance. Oh, and I think this is, no, it's almost like that one. Yeah, it is almost like that one. Where you sew the three. And I think actually on this one, I think I did the three. I've had these for quite a while. You did the three fabrics. So you pick out your three fabrics, sew them together, and place them that way. And then don't sew like one piece right here. So when you get to that end, you sew that very end like that. So leave. You sew, part of it like that.
You have to leave one.
And
Actually, you're sewing 4.
4. Okay, yeah, 4.
Right?
Yeah. There's 4, yeah. And I used a lot of, I made these a long time ago. I think if, you get it, you could put sashing in between it, and I think sashing would be kind of cute in between them. But you look at all these and you think about the quilts that you made, the baby quilts that you made, and they're all, there's 4 right here. So your 4 pieces, and they're all the same size. Like say this is 5 inches. So you're going to sew them all 5 inches. Or, here's a couple more right here. And then here, I have, this one this would make it good, 4th of July, this one was all scraps, and it started out with a square, and then you followed around the square.
Is that on your paper?
Triangle. A triangle. Circle, triangle. And then just keep going around it till you get the size that you want it to be. And this one I really want to get finished because I think it's really cute. And this is how it was. I went upstairs and I found a magazine because I was using all the computer paper. And your square doesn't have to be exactly in the center. It can be wherever. It doesn't have to be white. Actually, these are kind of a blue color. And then this rips off. So when I went to Pocatello and I did this in her car, and this rips off, this stuff rips off really easy. But you need to, I guess I should tell you that, you need to make sure you do a smaller stitch. Because if you don't, then the stitches are gonna pull out. So do it like 1.8, yeah, the length, I mean, yeah. And then just sometimes I spray it with water, yep. But if you can get underneath it, and then just be kind of careful because you don't want to rip the stitches out, but it'll start peeling right off. It's peeling right off. Anyway, and that was, so you can use magazine, phone books, which I don't know who has a phone book, we don't, but this was like an ad from jewelry, and since I guess nobody was gonna buy me any jewelry, I used the magazine. Yeah. What?
The dryer sheets.
Oh, the dryer sheets, yeah, they're the right size. This is actually an 8.5 by 8.5. I just took that's how big this was. 8.5 by 8.5 square. Last one, this is exploding block, and I love this one. Now, this one, I don't have to have my triangles because it doesn't work that way. You take and you sew 2 squares together like that, 2 different squares.
Around the outside?
They're right size together.
And do you sew around the outside of it?
Yes, sorry, yeah, the outside of it.
Yeah.
And first of all, draw your X on your fabric. You don't have to, just an X. You don't have to do the lines that go on the outside of it. So, because then you're gonna sew around the outside of your fabric.
All the way around?
You're gonna go like this. And then you're gonna decide, this is the one I want to be my center, and this is the one that's gonna be the outside. So I drew my X on the one that I wanted to be on the outside, and I'll show you in a minute. And then you kind of pinch your fabric like this. I think I had one. Oh, this one's sewed. Okay. So this one, I had this part all done, so that it was this center. This is the first 2 sewed together, right here. So those first 2 right there sewed together. You take, after you sew the outside, you kind of pinch this like this and kind of separate that. And if anybody has a better idea how to get it apart, but you just kind of pinch it and pull it apart. And don't cut both of them, just cut one of them. Do a little slit and you cut on your line both ways. You're gonna cut that way and that way. So you're going corner to corner, get in the corner as far as you can. And then you're gonna do it the other direction too. Yeah, with scissors. And then don't cut this side, just this one. And you're gonna cut clear to there. I usually start in the middle, cut clear to that corner, cut clear to that corner, cut clear to that corner. Am I explaining that okay? And then iron it open. And then trim it up so that you have a good square. And then your next piece you're gonna pick, like if this was 8 inches once it was ironed open. So the next piece you're gonna cut is gonna be 8 inches. And you're gonna sew it right sides together, doing exactly the same thing. This piece was the one I didn't want to have, was the outside piece. And so you would sew it right there, do it around the edges, and then cut it again and iron it open. And you can fussy cut it. You don't have to. You can do it however you want to do it. But
What's
then,
that, what's that called?
that one's called Exploding
Block.
Block. Yep. And then, here's one that I started. There we go. This, see, this is one that I started a long time ago. I don't know what I'm not quite sure what I have
So,
a bunch of these sewed, so I'm not quite
If it bothers you that points are chopped off, then don't do it. But it's kind of a cute
Yeah.
technique.
Yeah, once it's sewed together, yeah, if you don't, yeah,
You kind
the
of,
points are gonna be chopped off, that's
Yeah.
just,
yeah.
so this one's up my alley, because then I don't feel guilty. But this, and, you know, you
It
could
turns out so cute.
sew it all together and I think they would be really cute on point too. If you sewed them on point too. Someone might have to teach us how to do that. But I have lots of these, so I thought, well, that's, and then here, this was just one of the extra of that one that I said didn't match, and I just threw it in here. That's just how that block was. Here's one. Oh, this one I just found it in my blog. This is the last one. I found it in, and it was one of the, you know, the 4-patch, the one of that one, the one with the dog hole. And I took that one and put a piece of fabric on the top of it because I decided, oh, I'm going to try something different. And I did that the same way. Then I cut it up and it made it like that. Yeah, a pinwheel. So you can do anything that you want with your scraps. You just, the more you do it, you know, it just gets really fun. It does. And there's a lot of things, like I said, on YouTube that show you how to do different things. And it doesn't have to be little itty bitty pieces. It can be. Anyway, I appreciate you and I hope that you learned something and oh, good.